G'day everyone. Proud to say Bar Karate is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer. It's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. First off, my buddy in Portugal.
Greetings, exalted one.
Mr. Brett Perry. Hello.
G'day everyone. You know it's windy when the seagulls are pissed off. So I live, I've got a little apartment here in Portugal where I'm working, and I'm on the 7th floor, and I tell you what, the seagulls are really, really over it. They're over it. They've had enough.
I don't doubt it. She's been blowing. We'll get on to that.
Well, they can't even make their way forward. They just put their wings up and they just go backwards, and they're just so angry.
Oh. I'm glad you can speak Portuguese seagull, mate. That's pretty impressive. That's like a major.
It's a good language.
Let's bring in the other bloke in New Zealand.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Boss.
Yeah. NZ, bro.
Cheers,
Land
bro.
of the long white cloud for 1 week.
Cuzzy, bro.
And then making my way to Amsterdam for Mets next week, which will be good fun to catch up with everyone. But you're right. You know, it is that time of week, Jordan, when we hear about how windy it is in Portugal again. Mate, when's it going to end? When's it end?
I tell you what, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Amazing.
You might have to change your diet, BP.
Oh man,
So
I don't know. I mean, I love
not a good idea.
I love the wind. I love wind. I love the weather.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But there is only so much you can take.
Oh, well.
We'll talk about it in the in hot time, but the awards evening, gents. I've got a few little updates to do there.
Yep.
Including the mention of our good friend AMAM.
Yep.
Of course, who hosted the evening. So remind me.
I will. I'm writing it down now. Okay. Speaking of awards,
put it on the run sheet.
Speaking of awards, non nobis solum. Nick Bice. Congratulations, mate.
Not for us alone.
Mate, everyone thinks you're a little bit of a crazy dude, loose unit, but for your high school, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary and naming its top 100 students, what did you make, the top 20 or something? They've only
No. Let's not get carried away.
Okay.
It's not its top 100 students.
Okay. What is it?
And, well, it's the Hall of Fame. But,
the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll rephrase it. The Hall of Fame.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't judged on academia.
No, I wasn't alluding to that. I was alluding to things you've achieved. But anyway, I think they've only named 27 or something like that, and they've already named you as one. So into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.
At Largs Bay High School.
No, Port Lincoln High School,
Lincoln.
mate. Non-Nobis Salom.
Which is actually, when I saw that, I was pretty chuffed, because that's the start of a sentence that Cicero wrote, and it's a philosophy that I basically live by. I think it's a beautiful sentence. So well done, mate. It's
we're kindred spirits, you and I, Jordan. That's how it's happened.
It's
what a privilege, honour. A lot of very well-established ladies and gents went to that school, but to be named in that Hall of Fame is bloody exciting. It's really good.
It's a credit to you.
Well done.
It's a credit to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you're the absolute epitome of a bloke, you know, that no one sees the work that goes on behind the scenes, you know. It's all loose and crazy on top, but the people in A know just exactly what you can achieve, and it's impressive. So
remind me to talk about the awards, which are a little loose and crazy.
Oh dear. At least you're in a workplace that understands what you deliver, mate. So that's cool.
No.
Cool.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you.
That's all right. Shall we introduce our guest?
We shall.
Okay. BP's excited. This is a good one. This is one of BP's long-time mates. I think this is he's done well here with us. Our guest, Kind of same era as you, BP, going through the minis and went through that whole campaign. Actually got a couple of podiums, one in the series, one in the proto for the Mini Transats, which is currently on now. Leg 2's underway at the moment. Then went into the Class 40, sailing with Valentin Gautier, and they did 3 seasons together and even got a second place in the Transat Jacques Vabre. And now this year has moved up and stepped into the IMOCA fleet now, and is sailing on Hublot watches, which is, or the boat Hublot, which is Alan Roura's boat, and he's joined in for the Transat Jacques Vabre there. Now, obviously, the race is still sitting in dock, so we thought, let's have a chat. And that's what
better time to have a chat.
Perfect time. They're all sitting there.
Well, they've got nothing else to do.
So we're very happy to welcome to Barcarati Simon Koster. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Hi guys, how are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Bloody awesome, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, good to see you, but good to see you haven't blown away.
Yeah, it's pretty windy here right now, so it's a pretty good thing we're not somewhere in front of Cap Finisterre.
Oh, I've been looking on the webcams on Windy, and you can see one looking directly over Cape Finisterre. It's like, yeah, that would not be a good place to be right now.
Yeah. It's insane.
Bit of
it's a
deja
weird
vu
one
for you. Bit of deja vu for you, Simon. Looking back to the 2013 Mini Transit, we were held ashore for nearly a month. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that. We're talking about it with Justine Metro and a couple of other guys which are at the start of this Transat Jacques Vabre, and which did the 2013 Mini. So there's quite a few of them actually. But yeah, a bit of a revival. So we'll see. Hopefully we're not blocked for 3 weeks.
Well, if we look back to that event, you were sailing in a 650, a Mini, in the series, and you were on the podium. So maybe just chilling out gets you nice and relaxed, and the prospects are good for you guys.
Yeah, well, would be nice. That would definitely be above our targets if we finish on the podium.
So, tell us what's the vibe or what's the feeling been since? I guess you pretty much knew that you were going to be postponed for a little bit leading into Sunday, but what's the vibe been like? Just kind of everyone a bit relieved or anxious or waiting?
Actually, it's quite a funny one because we didn't know that we were gonna stay in port till about 8 in the morning the day of the start.
Right.
So I had my bags in hand to get out the apartment to go to the boat and bring the boat out the marina and out the lock. So the decision for our class came really last minute. So that was kind of weird as well, because we knew it was sort of on the limit what's doable. It was our routing showed that we had a couple of hours to spare before we got smashed in front of Portugal. So we kind of knew that it would be hard to get the whole fleet through. But the briefing we had 24 hours earlier Sunday morning kind of said, well, there's no doubt we're gonna go. It's gonna go ahead.
Oh, really?
And so they changed their mind during the night, and that was kind of weird. And from there on, in our case, there wasn't much time to kind of think about it, because we had sponsors on site and stuff, and we kind of had to turn the whole organization around and trying to keep them happy somehow during the day, because we weren't leaving and their boat wasn't sailing. So that was a bit of an interesting one, but in the end, I think we managed to make the most of it. And it's more when we left the boats in Le Havre and went back home for a couple of days, we were like, all right, this is gonna be weird. No one questioned the decision the race committee took. It's more the timing of the decision which was a bit weird.
So
I guess it's all up to the last minute anyway, because this system, and I'm seeing it firsthand. I've been banging on about it now for 3 weeks. It's still here. It's still the same flow. It's the same, and they're coming through quick. So they probably tried to leave it till the very last second to make that decision to find that gap, but it's just not there, is it?
Yeah, I think they were believing in it a little bit too long, that it's turning the right way and slowing down a bit, but didn't happen.
Have they actually started talking about when you might go? Have you had any word? Because looking at the weather, you could be there till Wednesday almost, Have they given any indication?
For now, we're guaranteed there's going to be no start before Sunday. The last informations we had, they were looking at the possibility to start Sunday or Tuesday, I think. There's a little bit of a lock issue on Monday. I think you have to go through a lock when you get out of Le Havre, and there isn't enough water height, I think, at Monday to get the fleet out the marina.
Yep.
It's not one thing, it's another.
It's logistics is quite complicated where there is a lot of tide. So we'll see. It's probably going to be, I guess if they stick it through Sunday, it's going to be quite a challenging one at the beginning. Did a few routings yesterday to see when he could leave, and Tuesday looks all right. Wednesday should be fine. So we'll see.
Was there ever any discussion about actually dragging the start forward?
They had the possibility in the race instructions to be able to bring it forward a day, but they didn't. Quite quickly, they said that's not going to happen. In hindsight, I haven't looked at it. I haven't routed from Sunday from Saturday to see if it would have gone through, but I think it wouldn't have solved all the issues anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, it could have brought it forward about 2 weeks. That might have worked.
Yeah. Well, it's always you always that 1 week. The start is always that 1 week late in that period of the year.
Yeah, sure.
One day you're walking around shorts and t-shirt, and the other day you're back to hoodies and to being wrapped up in big clothes, and switches quite quickly. Usually when the first trainer depression starts going.
It happened very quick. I mean, it's like 2 weeks ago it was summer here as well, and just bang.
And now you've just flooded out of your bloody lounge room, BP.
Oh, mate, I'm stuck in my lounge room.
You're wearing your waders to watch TV. Married
no, mate, I feel like I'm out sailing. I go to sleep in my mustos.
I love it.
I think they're going to be quite good images this morning of the sea state here in Brittany. I think that's going to be quite big.
I saw some photos.
I
saw some photos Christophe Favreau published actually. Some massive waves just smashing on rocks and stuff. So right there. So you're definitely right. The sea state is incredible. From your perspective, does this make you more nervous, or it doesn't matter to you? It's just you'll go when you go.
It doesn't make me more nervous. I think it's hard to get in the right headspace again. Like we spent all Saturday kind of telling ourselves, all right, we're gonna go no matter what. It's gonna leave, and we know it will be quite tough conditions, and then you're told like an hour before leaving the marina that you're not going, and you're a bit up in the air you don't really know what's happening. So hopefully we know far enough ahead when we're going to leave to be able to kind of prepare ourselves again for a date when we're going to leave. Because the hard part is not knowing when it's actually going to go. So the whole organization before it, when we're going to go back up there, when we're going to get the team back there as well. Because not everyone stayed with the boats. We left 2 guys up there because of the strong wind, but everyone else went back home for a couple of days now. So this is going to be a challenging one.
Talking about that, there was a lot of preparation, obviously, to protect the boats. Has there been? They got through, because last night up there, I was watching it. The sail came across, and it sort of was looking like a constant 60 knots. Wow. So the boats are all okay.
Yeah. From what I heard from our guys this morning is that they're still okay, but it's still windy up there. so it's not quite through yet. So hopefully, it's windy in the basin, but we had the race company took all the other little pontoons out when the other classes left, so we could actually put all the boats alongside, which is already quite a bit safer than having them on little finger pontoons and on moorings.
Yeah.
So that should be fine. There's buildings either side of the basin where the boats are, so which slows the wind down a bit, but. Yeah, it's still windy for having them in the marina.
When you do go later on, it looks like if you do go sort of around the middle of the week, you're going to get a really sweet run. Like, you could absolutely scream out of there and be on your way pretty quickly. Have you been doing any routing based on any time frames, or are you just sitting there waiting to get that news first?
No, I've done a few. It could actually end up being quite a nice weather situation to get there quick. I think yesterday I routed for a start Sunday evening, and it took us a bit over 11 days.
Yep.
To get to Martinique.
Yep.
That's considering that the race course is going to be shortened and there's not going to be a waypoint in Sao Pedro.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and you'll be starting pretty fast too, because Sunday night you'll be just like side on, pretty strong winds, but side on. So yeah, you could absolutely fly out. Yeah, Sunday looks pretty good actually, doesn't it? Looking at it. Yep. Okay.
Depends on the residual swell, so obviously that's a big factor as well.
Yeah, it's still quite wavy getting out of the English Channel. There's about 5 meters and 10 seconds something, and so it's going to be quite lively.
Wow.
Quite lively.
So, mate,
So we'll see.
So you're on with you've joined in a team with Alan Roura, another Swiss. So you're the Swiss team, the deadly Swiss team coming into action. You guys have obviously been knowing each other for a lot of your lives. How's it coming from having your own teams to joining a team? Has that been a big change for you?
It has been the last 4 years. I had together with another mate class 40 campaign, and went from that to joining a team for being coast keeper for a season. And it's it's quite nice because there's a lot less decisions to take. There's a lot less responsibility to take. So you kind of you more rock up to work.
You can blame someone else.
It's a bit more. You're a bit more free. There's a lot less weight on your shoulders doing it. On the other hand, you haven't got control over everything that as well. So it's goes a bit of both ways. So kind of had to get used to it as well. That certain things are done in a certain way in the team, and you accept that and you go forward with it. And on the other hand, it's quite nice having that freedom coming from the outside and looking at a team which has been working together for a couple of years and bringing in some new ideas and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting, I find.
I've got to say, did you watch the start for the other boats? Because the class 40s, they looked unreal, didn't they? They were just smoking across the water until they got to that turning mark and decided to crash into each other. But, the little scow things are just smoking across. I show my wife because I'm saying, let's go sailing one of these. She's just looking at me terrified. They look so fast.
Were awesome images, awesome, tough conditions for these guys. I had Axel Train around my house yesterday, who was one of the guys sailing, and he told me that it was a rough night, but the start was amazing. Like the conditions were at the top limit of what you can have for starting a race with such a big fleet, but it was great. It was great to watch.
Yeah, they look good boats. It was good. It was a good ad for the class, if you ask me. Like just watching them just racing along, like how fast a little 40-footer can go without foils, and obviously maybe you could enclose the cockpit a little more so you don't get sprayed as much. But beyond that, they look pretty fantastic.
Yeah, but these things once you get going and once you get up to like 15, 16 knots, there's not a lot holding them back because there's so much hull stability coming into play when they go quick that just keeps on accelerating. And if the sea state allows you to go quick, there's not much holding them back.
So were you with your sponsors, were you able to get them out on the water even to witness that on the start day, or was it all a bit too rushed to try and achieve that?
We tried. We were out there with 2 rips, and one of us, one skipper on each rip, to commentate a bit the thing. But as it is, when it's rough like that, by the time the class 40s came to the bloody mark, everyone was sick on board, and we had to go back in. So we saw the multi-hulls from far because they didn't go around the turning mark. So it was a bit of a shame, but we kind of knew that it would be a possibility that wouldn't go down well with everyone's stomach.
Yeah. Well, it's the nature of our sport, though, isn't it? Obviously, we stick them out there in all sorts of different conditions, and when you do have the guests on board, you get the different types. Some just love it. Some just love getting hosed and wet and and bounced around, and others are very precious. So you just have to deal with what you got, basically.
Yeah, there was a bit of both on board, but there were a few guys who.
Oh, mate, I've been seeing the photos, and I must admit I'm probably a little bit precious. Just feel a bit crook in the guts looking at the photos. And there's that classic one of the 40s, like all 4 of them have hit that white, like the 3 or 4 separate waves at the same time.
Yeah.
And it possibly one of the better shots we've ever seen in yachting. So,
there's a couple of amazing shots of that reaching leg from the start.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think was it young James who was up in the helicopter? I think he was up.
Yeah, I saw some footage from him specifically about with the multis.
Yeah.
But there was some magnificent still shots as well.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. So in terms of let's get into you a little bit, and then we'll come back to the racing a bit more. But I mean, the obvious question, Simon, is you're born in Switzerland, in Zurich, right? You're a Zurich boy, where they've got mountains and a lake. They don't have oceans. And here you are spending all your life banging around in oceans. Are you lost, or was this a... how did you get to this?
That was probably what my parents were asking themselves when I wanted to go offshore sailing. But
yeah.
Well, it kind of came in stages, basically. I was started sailing, my parents... a little trimaran in Switzerland when I was a child. We spent our weekends and our holidays on it and different lakes, and brought it to the sea a couple of times in the Netherlands, and started opti sailing, really classical route, doing opti sailing, getting into racing, and then getting into 420 sailing. Did a whole bunch of championships with that, and at some point came the point where it was like, we started 470 sailing. Is it going to be an Olympic campaign or not? And sort of thing. Trying, like, my helmsman at the time was he had only one goal in mind, was going to the Olympics, and for me it was a bit different. I was at did an apprenticeship as an electronics technician at the same time, and was always a bit of a struggle to get the time between sailing and working right. And to be honest, I was a bit annoyed with going around the marks all the time and like traveling to places, not seeing anything else than the marina and your hotel room. So that's how like the dream of going offshore a bit more started. I was always fascinated when I was young, reading about the Whitbread and the Volvo Ocean Race, and I actually went to a stopover of the Ocean Race, which was I don't know what year it was, but in La Rochelle with Ilbrook and the last edition of the Volvo 60s.
2003 or 2 rather. So, 2002.
Was fan of that. I went to La Rochelle with a bag full of Toblerone chocolate in my backpack to give it to the crew because I emailed the bowman of the boat, and he responded to me during the whole race, and
nice.
because he was a German guy, so that's how I kind of was fascinated by that world.
Tony Kolb from memory.
Yeah, that's it.
God, boss, you're all right, mate. So you went down to the docks, you walked around, and that sort of started. How did you know about the minis? Was that because that was your first sort of dip in the water, wasn't it? The series.
Yeah,
had you had any offshore experience before that?
Yeah, I went after my apprenticeship in Switzerland. I went to New Zealand for 3 months to learn a bit of English, and then straight to Cowes to do a yacht master, sort of a 0 to hero course, and to be able to work on boats and started off from there. I did 2 Transat on bigger boats. It's like 60 to 65 foot boats, so always with clients on board for charter companies, which the race charters. So I did all these Cowes weeks and all the sailing weeks that were in the UK, and then brought them across and did all the Caribbean racing season. That's how I kind of got my foot into some sort of professional sailing, not really professional racing, but at least professional sailing. And after a season of doing that, I was like, well, this is not all of it. Like, it's harder to manage the people on board than to actually race the boats, because every regatta you get new guys on board, which are not really sailors. So you just spend your time explaining stuff and not really thinking about how to get the boat quicker. So I was like, well, how can I do something which is a bit more competitive, which is a bit more full on racing. And I ended up doing a delivery of a Class 40 with Sam Goodchild, which I came across in the Caribbean as well, as he was looking after a Class 40 and stuff like that. One of the Dutchier missions we did, bringing the Class 40 back in December from Jamaica was supposed to be to the UK, but which has been 9 months stranded in Jamaica. And interesting mission, but we ended up having no autopilot for the way back, and so we steered 12 hours each of us. And it's like, after that experience, I was like, all right, well, can't get much worse than that. So mini sailing shouldn't be too complicated after this. So I went back to Switzerland, trying to find a lot of jobs, everything I could get my hands on to get some money, and trying to finance a mini. I heard about the minis before. I read a lot about them. I've never stepped foot on one before. So managed to finance a series boat. I bought it in the least fitted out version I could get it. So it was just a joined hull with a deck and the keel in it. And there was no fittings on the deck, no winches, no nothing. And I took the boat back to Switzerland so I could finish it in a shed of my mate, and I could work alongside to keep on earning money to actually pay for the boat in the beginning of the campaign. That's how it all started. That was 2011, and put it actually in the water in the Lake of Zurich in December. At some point, there was ice on the deck when we put it in, and I did my first maneuvers with it and first sighting experiences after work. Trying to get home before it was too dark and that sort of stuff, because it was winter, so the days weren't very long, and the only guys on the lake was me and the rescue boats, which kind of patrolled the lake. So it's quite funny. And then end of the winter in March, I got dropped off in Lorient with a trailer, the boat on it, and my tent. So I went to the camping ground and stuck up my tent, and I just knew in Lorient there were a lot of minis, so I would find some people to train with, and that's how it all started.
Take a few sticks of Toblerone, and anyone's your mate.
Yeah, that works to this day. Chocolate bribery works quite well.
Oh, 100%. Well, I use other items to bribe people, but
I love it.
you definitely get. That's how you got on the show, I think. Actually, Jordan Spencer, he's bribed highly by chocolate.
I love it. Did you? I mean, like you said, you didn't really sail the boats before getting into them. Like when you first went sailing out in the ocean on them, were you like, "Oh, this is terrifying," or "What have I done?" Or were you just like, "This is so much fun"?
Oh no, I was loving it. I was loving it because it's like it's probably the closest thing you can get to dinghy sailing on a keelboat. So that was such powerful boats. Quite simple still, and everything's still in a size you can actually manage yourself. So yeah, a lot of fun, and just I had one of the best 2 years I had was those 2 years of mini series racing at the beginning, because there's so much to learn, so much to get on top of, and just thinking about racing all day long, and how to optimize the boat, how to learn more about the navigation stuff involved, how to get the boat faster. So yeah, I was really lucky when I got there. I quickly bumped into a mate of mine I was racing against in 420s, who was working for Steve Ravissant at the time with Race for Water with the Mod 70.
Oh yeah, yep.
And after like 2 or 3 days on the camping ground, I was like, well, fuck, it's cold here still in March. So I bumped into him the next day, and he was like, well, come and sleep on our couch for the night in our apartment. They had a flat with a couple of guys in sailing as well. And so yeah, I went one day on this couch. I spent two seasons on this couch. So pretty perfect. And one of the flatmates was Justine Metro.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we had the same series boats. So quite quickly we figured out it would probably be a good thing if we shared some information and trained a bit together, and did some of the logistics together as well, which was quite helpful for me because she had a big sponsor and a car, which I was with my push bike and
a tent.
So, exactly. So it was quite good.
And it's one of the things that I picked up on when I sort of first started was the camaraderie and the support, and how big and diverse the mini fleet was. You know, you did have the fully sort of backed or funded people, and then you had the people really just battling to make it happen, and that was one of the things that was really cool, and still is to this day cool about the mini fleet.
Yeah, there's quite a wide spread of people, of backgrounds, of competitors in the end, which some of them do it just to get there, just to do it as a challenge. And nowadays there's more and more to do it to race properly. And at the time it was probably about, say, half the fleet was into the competition and was really pushing for that. And probably about 20 boats which were properly competitive in the series fleet.
Yeah, then you moved on to your own proto. That was the 15, wasn't the next 2 years after that, and you put your own boat on the water. How did you enjoy the step up from the series to the protos?
Yeah, I finished the first series mini in 2013 on the podium. So I was like, after that, well, what do I do? I like the minis. I thought there was still a lot to learn in there, and was always fascinated by the prototypes. And before buying that series mini, everyone told me, yeah, you should probably go for a series mini first if you haven't sailed one before. So I was kind of attracted by the prototypes to start with, but kind of held myself back not to get into that too quickly. And yeah, for me that was a way to kind of stay in a mini and step it up in complexity a bit. And yeah, I didn't hold back on that when
No, you definitely
designed
didn't.
that new boat. So we went a bit too crazy, I guess. But we built the Mini, which had foils, L foils underneath the hull at the time, because we're not allowed to go over the 3 meter width with the foils at the time. And the T-foil rudders and the scow bow and the whole lot, extending a telescopic keel. And so it took me a steep learning curve, because I wasn't a boat builder at the time. I wasn't, I knew how to work with my hands, but that was about it. So I got the big composite parts built by yards around the area of Lorient, and then fitted it all out myself, mounted it all together myself, did all the little bits and pieces myself. So a lot of work, not a lot of sleep. So everything got delayed, as it is in these boat builds all the time. Because at the same time there were about, I don't know, 4 or 5 IMOCAs in build in the area, so there wasn't a lot of time for the boat builders to work on my little boat, which wasn't earning them much money. So
but some magnificent opportunities to steal some shit from some of those bigger projects. So
I love it.
But yeah, it was. Being able to build a boat close to here and this area, there's so much knowledge around. There's so many tips which come around along the way. At some point, I was even allowed to work, build my own pieces in the yard where they built my hull at the same time. So I kind of was in the yard with the guys and didn't know how to do a vacuum before I went in there. And after these 9 months of building, just by seeing what the guys are doing next to me, and some of the guys just do it like this or do it like that, between their two pieces, I learned a lot of stuff and didn't do everything right from the first time. So there was quite a bit of time to get the boat in the water and get it running. We got it in the water for a qualifying race just before we sailed 2 hours, and we broke a keel axle straight away. So that was a hard one. There was some engineering issue on it, and kind of had to go back in the shed, machine a new piece and that sort of stuff. So it was quite a hard way to that Mini in 2015. I think I was more knackered before the race than after the race.
Had to go to sea to have a bit of a rest. Oh, finally, I can get 8 minutes sleep. You little Anzac.
I mean, sorry, go on. It
was the first hard first edition, especially because the second leg was quite windy. So I remember the day still. It's I was in a good pack for quite a while, about 5th or 6th, and then there's just one night where I paid for the long nights, the long days of work I did the whole 12 months before, where I just dropped the kite down or the small kite down and didn't put up code 5 to keep going, and just stayed with a jib up for like 4 hours, and then the guys around me next morning were gone, just because couldn't no energy in the tank anymore. And so I ended up 8th in both legs, which gave me a 7th overall. So that was a bit.
I mean, still,
mate,
wasn't quite satisfied with it.
Still
nothing to be sneezed at, Simon. Not at all.
No, absolutely.
And then so that's why I went back with it. It's like, well, we need to go better with this boat. We need to be able to make that thing a bit more around capable, because the boat was quick, but it was quite heavy. So it worked in strong airs, downwind quite well, but in all the other conditions with the foils dragging in the water and that sort of stuff, the compromise wasn't really a good one. So I went back 2 years later with a boat which has lost probably about 60-70 kilos on it, for a boat which is like 800 kilos from the start with. That was quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more all-around capable, and managed to get a second, third place in the prototype this time. So so quite pleased with it. And that's where I met the guy. Where I met Valentin Gautier, which I did the Class 40 project a few years later with him.
Look, in my mind here, obviously sailing is a big part of this, but you need to have that adventurous spirit as well. So outside of sailing, are you an adventurer as such in that regard, or sailing's kind of just that's been the pathway, or you love getting into the mountains, the skiing and all that sort of stuff, or that's kind of
I think it's quite a similar mindset from like the offshore sailing we do, what the guys do in the mountains. So yeah, done quite a fair bit of mountaineering and skiing and stuff like that. That's coming from Switzerland. That was probably would have been an easier choice to find a career in there than to find a career in offshore sailing, but kind of had to go the long way.
Well, they're kind of similar,
but
right?
Yeah, definitely like it, and I like that sort of sport. I like that sort of spirit, and I like the competition as well. So the more it goes on, trying to get that side a bit more on the top. But I'm always like, even now looking at an archipelago race or a race to Alaska or stuff like that. That's kind of still teases me to do stuff like that at some point.
Definitely.
I love it. All right, so you've come right through, and I think this is your first season in the IMOCAs. What are you noticing that's different about these boats? Like, apart from being locked away in a coffin, like in your little cabin down below, like what else?
Your bass drum.
Yeah, boom, boom. Oh, the alarm. How's your alarm? Is it a friendly alarm or is it?
Yeah, what language have you gone through? Swiss German, Swiss French, Swiss Italian.
Our alarm is just beeping. It's not speaking, so probably coming from Alex. It's just a loud screaming noise.
I love it. I love it.
So you went through. You did the Class 40s, and obviously that's another whole story in itself because you got some fantastic results there. You then, was it always sort of the intention to get to the IMOCAs? Because as Jordan said, they're an absolute weapon now. What have you seen sort of progress, and was it your goal to get to the IMOCAs?
Well, it was my goal. My ultimate goal is to race around the world one day. If it's in IMOCAs, if it's on something else, I don't really mind. But yes, they're fascinating boats, the IMOCAs, and with like being in Lorient, being based in Lorient, all since the Mini. You've seen it evolve. You've seen the boats getting more and more complex, faster and faster, and it was nice. I've done a few things on an IMOCA before, but not racing, just like helping to set them up, and did a few test runs, but nothing like that. And it's pleased with like being able to get into that class and race straight away, being able to be on the races double-handed, and it's another challenge because the boats are more complex. Things you before on the Class 40 or on the Mini, when it's going quick, you're just looking a bit at your backstay. I should be all right, and that's about how far the assessment goes. And on an IMOCA, you got the numbers for everything, so you need to be a bit more careful about it.
Love it.
So there's a lot more. There's a lot more numbers to back up what you're doing on board, and you can actually see how the boat's working with the numbers, which I haven't had before. Even on the Class 40s, it's still pretty simple electronic setups. So it's nothing like we have now with, I don't know how many sensors in the boat and load cells and fiber optics and all sorts. So it all, it's I find it very interesting. I like that part of sailing, like trying to understand how the system works, trying to understand what it needs to make the boat fly and what you need to make it quick. And I find that the interesting part about the whole the whole offshore sailing thing, because it's such a wide thing. Like,
sorry, when you're and having only sailed in IMOCA a handful of times, but then sailing a boat that now foils, when does the kind of the stars kind of leave your eyes, so to speak, and think, oh, we're doing 26 knots, but we should be doing 28? Like when it turns from just having so much fun and exhilaration to actually then, actually we can push the bit more out of this. We can push the bit more out of this.
Yeah, at the beginning, definitely. It's more like, you try to go quick, and you're happy when you're above 22, 23s. And it took, we had the chance this year that we went down to Cascais for training for about 4 weeks. So that was perfect for me, like stepping on the boat and having just a 4-week training session before actually starting the season. So we got that part out of the way pretty quickly. That the first big sail we did was sailing the boat down double-handed to Cascais from Brittany in the end of March, which was quite windy. So you're like, at the beginning, you're like, all right, well, how do you slow these things down? Like when it's you're on a reach, you
manage it.
Keeps on getting quicker until everything, all the alarms start to scream, and you're like, well, start to sheet out a bit to keep the mast from falling down. But yeah, it took probably about 2-3 weeks to get used to that. And then, it's sometimes still hard when it's living in these boats, it's not always easy. So the black box is jumping around quite a bit.
I was going to ask you that question exactly.
So when it's hard to live on board, it's sometimes as well hard to find these percentages in the end. Like when you're already doing, as Spicy said, 24 knots, and you have to look for like 26, and especially they're rarely stable speeds on these boats, because the whole system is not very stable with that one foil which pushes. So you need to get your mindset into that quite quickly, because it's quite often it doesn't need much. You ease out 5 centimeters of sheet, and sometimes the boat takes off, and sometimes just because of that the boat doesn't get on its foil properly. So you can lose out big time fairly quickly with these boats. So the gap, or let's say the groove where they function in, is not that big. So when you don't get in the groove, you're not 1 knot slower, you're 4 knots slower. So you have to be on it to use that foil, that booster of the foil all the time.
Do you think that is potentially the main difference, between first and, let's say, I don't know, 10th and 20th? Are the newer boats sort of trying to work on holding that groove a bit more? Do you feel that that's sort of an evolution, or are they still pushing the envelope and still having to be a lot more precise? I mean, because ultimately these races are so long, and if you can average your speeds out, you're going to do better than someone who's doing 30 knots and then 20 knots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's still, even with the new boats, I think there's still 2 different philosophies have come through. We can see boats like Charal, which have got foils which are very powerful, which are probably flat water speeds, one of the quickest boats. On the other hand, they're not, because the foil is so flat in the water that if there's not much auto regulation going on, so they have to be on it a lot to keep it quick. And you can see other new boats like Thomas's boat or Johan Richom's boat, which got the whole philosophy of the boat is a bit more auto-regulating average speeds and stuff like that. So the boats seem smoother, the boats seem to go through the waves better, auto-regulate themselves better. Ultimately, probably a bit less powerful, but probably for sailing single-handed on an average, seems to be, they seem to, looking at the results they do as well, they seem to get away with it quite good. So I think there's still a bit of searching going on, but in my point of view, it's definitely where it needs to go. And we can see as well that the foils, which is our big problem, is that the foils don't go down in the water too far enough that you got the foils got time to regulate, because ours come out the top of the water quite quickly, so it's quite hard to keep it in the groove where it works. And the new foils, they go like 2 meters down into the water, so there's a bit more leeway on that.
Yeah, I mean, when was your boat built? So the original Hugo Boss, right? So 2018,
2019,
is that right?
Yeah, I was in the water 19. Was on the start of the TJV 19. That was the first race
Correct.
I did.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they broke it.
Yeah, that's right. Alex and Neil, right?
Yep.
That's right.
From memory. What you see now, though, if you could choose any of those boats out there, like from the new Chirao or Thomas boat, whatever it is, what really gets you fully fired up?
I like Johan's boat.
Yeah.
Arkea Paprec.
Yeah.
I like that boat. I think he's gone quite far with as well the setup for the sailor, which is well protected inside, but still you can see outside, which is a bit the problem on our boat. It's a nice setup. You're in your pajamas almost the whole time, but it's quite hard to trim sails because you can't actually see a lot. It's the windows are just a tiny bit too small. You have to kind of get your head around where to go to actually be able to see what you want to see. I think that's better. That's better done on Johan's boat, and looking at the hull shape as well. I think they found a hull shape which actually gets over the waves a bit better than the others without sacrificing too much speed in light air. So seems to me for the moment a cool boat, a nice boat, an all round fast boat. So
yeah, cool. Keeping up. I reckon I'd run like a little spy mirror, just poke it up,
little periscope
behind the companionway, and look in it, and then try. Am I going port, starboard, port? No. Oh, it would be I can't even contemplate how much of a mind, like, it must mess with your mind so much, being down below, trying to look through the little windows, or poke your head out, knowing those changes. It's mind-boggling.
We were talking about before how much time it takes to get used to like a foiling IMOCA. I think that cockpit setup almost takes more time to get used to than the foiling thing.
Yeah, just not feeling the natural wind in the face, all those sorts of things, like with especially apparent wind sailing. Yeah.
What I didn't realize is because the cockpit is quite far forward in the boat, so you're literally at the base of the mast, that your vision on all your leeches changes so much. Like what you have in your head, because you used to be at the back of the boat to look at your leeches of head sails and mains and stuff. You got that vision in your head, and because you're 5 meters further forward or 4 meters further forward, it changes. Like it's not the same, so it's hard to you need to readjust your kind of what you have as a reference.
What you naturally kind of grew up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unless you've been a marsman your whole life and sitting right forward.
Hoist! Hang on. No, that's not my job anymore.
Yeah, a marsman with an opinion.
Made.
Never heard of that.
Normal marsman. So, Alan Roura, co-skipper, how did that eventuate? I mean, he's another one of, like I like to say, us in inverted commas, come through the same ranks, the same sort of path as the minis, and then through to class 40s, and now he has obviously been pushing very hard in the IMOCAs for a long time. How did the partnership eventuate between you two?
Well, as you said, we knew each other from the minis, 2012, 2013. He did the same Mini Transat, which was a bit of an adventure with one leg and the first leg abandoned, that sort of stuff. So we knew each other from there. I spent about 2 weeks rewiring his boat before his first Vendée Globe in Les Sables d'Olonne. So because his first Vendée Globe campaign was shoestring one, so no money, just an old boat and a bunch of mates, a lot of mini sailors in it.
Shouldn't have
Make
used
it work.
You shouldn't have used shoestrings for wiring, mate.
Well, I still remember the day when he started the race. We worked through the whole night, the night before the start of the Vendée Globe to get his boat somewhat ready. We dropped off the tool bags about 5 minutes before he left the dock.
Oh.
And we told him in the morning when he came on board, it's like, all right, that's the job list. So that's working. That's working. That's not working. That's not working. That's working. And we actually asked him, well, can you just give us another 48 hours? Like, go out, take the start. You're allowed to come back in. You're allowed to have, I don't know, a week stopover and leave again. So give us another 48 hours and we can make 99% of that stuff working. But now you probably just got 80 of it. And he was like,
took off.
Nah, it's fine. I've got sheets. I've got a sail. It's all good. It's gonna work. And off he went. And well, in the back of our head, we're saying, well, he's gonna go well. If he does well, he's going down to Cape of Good Hope or get down to Cape Town or something like that. And yeah, he went all the way around. So
wow,
it's incredible, isn't it? It's an amazing story.
Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. That's all you need to do. 80%. 80% of it takes you 20% of the time, right? So last 20% takes 80% of the time. So
unless your rudders are in that last 20% or your mast.
Amazing story. So as I said, you joined forces, and here you are.
Yeah, I worked with him. Just for that, and I did another mission when he had the second boat, La Fabrique, when they put their foils in. So I helped them out a bit there, and for the first setups and stuff, and then I did the last Route du Rhum on the Class 40 last year, and that was not really expected. Because it was more supposed to be my co-skipper at the time on the Class 40, Valentin Gautier, which is supposed to do it because he was an investor from his side, which was the owner of the boat. So it was a bit more logical that he would take after the 2 Transat Jacques Vabre we did on the Class 40, that he would take it to the Route du Rhum. But he decided he wanted to move back to Switzerland and find another career as offshore sailing here in Brittany. So it wasn't logical for him to do the Route du Rhum. So I kind of inherited the project for that year, and that was awesome. But meant as well I didn't have time, or didn't want to take the time to set up something myself for after the Route du Rhum. Kind of told to myself that it's not the time. You have to concentrate on that Route du Rhum 100%, and you don't have to, like, you're not going to do both of them well when you try to set up a campaign and competing in the Route du Rhum. So left that to the side, but then started to send some emails to the guys I knew which had their projects to be able to see if there would be a spot for a Transat Jacques Vabre. And I was in discussion with Jan Lipinski as well on the 4T, and then Alan called me up pretty quickly after my first email. It's like, all right, well, let's do this together, and that was perfect.
Perfect.
He's definitely one of a kind, old Alan.
That's cool. Hey, boys, we're running out of time here, so we just need to finish off on a few questions. Just with going into the race, mate, let's get back to the actual race. It's going to kick off in a few days. Expectations, where are you guys planning to come? First, second, 23rd?
No, I think with it's hard to aim that high in that class at the moment because there are 13 new boats, probably 10 new boats on the start line right now. Looking at what we managed to do with the boat beforehand, I think if we're in the top 15, it's already pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking at the size of the teams,
already pretty good. Bloody hell, the caliber of the top 15 is phenomenal.
It's mad. Yeah, it's mad. It's there's so much. There's so many good guys in here right now. There's so much money as well to run like proper proper campaigns with a lot of guys and developing quick and that sort of stuff. So you can feel each winter the guys get faster. They're still making big progresses in the shed as well, not just on the water. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep up, especially with.
I reckon that's the hardest part. You look at this every time we turn our heads. There's another boat popping out the shed, and there's something new going on, And I think that the cracking the code is the hardest part. And once you're committed to your boat, realistically, you've got a year, of learning the boat. But you're also, by that time comes around, you've got another boat out the shed.
Yeah, that's one thing, and the other thing is as well, like people even developing quickly the old boats, like their boats like the MG Mori and stuff. They've built like 6 meters of the boat new this winter and put new foils in, and they're doing yard work which are well over 2 million in some winters, and so the boats are evolving quick. And when you're not doing big changes one winter, then definitely you're not. Like, you're losing ground for sure. And
absolutely.
Alan got that boat for last season, and because of the qualification for the Vendée now, he kind of needs to start to race immediately.
Yep.
They didn't really have time to do any development on the boat beforehand, and it probably wasn't a good time either because he had to learn that boat first. And there is not a huge amount of budget in this team, so we can do things, but we have to be careful. So we can't change foils, for example. It's just not, the money's just not there, which is probably what the boat would need to make a big step forward comparing to the other boats which are in the fleet right now. But that's part of the game. It always has been. So you need to work with what you got and make the most out of it. Trying to be intelligent about the changes we do. We changed a bit of the shapes of the foils. We changed keel weights and that sort of stuff to make the boat a bit more all around capable, because it was a boat which is built uniquely to go around the world on a Vendée. So it's a downwind boat. It's not an upwind boat. And we need to, because we do so many other races with the boat to qualify, and like the boat needed to be a bit more all around capable. So that was a bit of work this winter.
That's fair.
Cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, we're going to wish you luck, but I do want to ask one more question. What do you reckon that if you're a young person listening, what's the most important thing for going to sea? Like, if you're going to try and do this sort of racing, what's the most important thing to remember when you're hitting the boat before going to sea?
Just before you're leaving. I think for me, it's always a question of like trying to keep the rhythm as high as you can on these boats to do well. It's one of those things in the Mini. It's because you're on your own on these, on single handed or even double handed. So if you get into the right mindset to actually look for these meters from the start, then you'll have accumulated a lot of meters at the finish when you keep up the right rhythm. And it's so easy in offshore mode to be a bit more lazy, just to be a bit slower on the sail changes, to be a bit less accurate, stacking a little less, and that sort of stuff. And it all adds up. And that's how I try to push myself every time. It's just like so many races finish within minutes of each other, even after 2 weeks of racing, that you can't give away anything. So you have to be hard on yourself and do the little parts and do the details.
Actually, that's so the moral of the story, kids, no smoking. Because that every time you think of doing something and you think, oh, maybe I'll just have a little chuff here of a cigarette, that's another 3 minutes where you could have been straight into it, sail change modes. That'll get you across the finish line fastest.
Winning tips, hey?
Yeah, probably. That won't be in the book, that one.
All right, mate. I think we're going to have to leave it there, Simon. It's been fun chatting to you. We're wishing you the best possible race. You seem to do really well every time. So we don't believe your crap about finishing down in the teens and all that stuff. We know the podium's calling, so we'll watch with interest, my friend.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for having me. It was good.
Best of luck.
Good on you, Simon, mate. Good luck in the race.
Keeping a close eye
for me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Simon is one of those guys that will help everyone. He is an optimum professional, but he's also just a nice guy. And he was one of those guys that I met way back in the, when I first started doing my mini stuff, and he was just there all the time, helping a hand, talk to you, help you out, guide you, but he's just so immersed. I mean, he's one of those guys that he is just fully immersed, and that's what's good about him.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, that definitely came through, and I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, but they've all been on the dock. You think you're going a bit stir crazy?
Oh, mate.
Like, do you put your head in the game? Like, do you start putting yourself into a watch system? And do you start eating the food? Would they be on their Radix nutrition? Mate, I tell you, actually, Radix nutrition could have saved me today. I was sitting on the tarmac for about 3 hours in Sydney, waiting for my flight over here to Auckland.
Nothing worse.
I could have just broke out a bit of Radix while I was there. I was thinking just
a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, well, Qantas did have their shareholders meeting this week. Maybe they could just take it on.
Well,
think they would be putting their discount code in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The old airline food, take the Radix. Yes, stuck on. Imagine if you had done that. Oh, look, can I just have a bit of warm water? Yeah,
a bit of hot water, thanks. Yeah.
Away we go.
Just scoop it away.
What are you eating there, mate? And you could see I reckon you could see, like, you'd be eating the Radix and then
smoky barbecue.
Yeah,
smoky barbecue.
And all the people around you start hitting the hosting call button going, can I get some? Can I get
some? I'll have what he's having.
I'll have what he's having. I love it. If you do want to have what he's having, you can go to the Radix Nutrition website, jump online there, and if you put in the code Barkarati, you will get a discount from us. And enjoy it for your next regatta or next time you're just stuck on a plane waiting for it to take off.
Yeah, there you go. Just break her out the old top skyrocket and off you go. Perfect.
Beauty. Club events, boys. There's a few little things going on. So November 11th, so that'll be that'll be next week. The Young 88 Owners Champs in Buckland Beach.
The Young 88s.
The reason we bring this one up is because there's a few old America's Cup skippers own those, and it's pretty much in the days past, it was the selection criteria basically for who's going to be steering boats and making the America's Cup team. So it is pretty intense, but it's still on. And
you can imagine it, couldn't you?
There's a few.
I'll keep my eye on things on the Waitemata Harbour this week just to see what's going on. They could be out there training.
Could you imagine the tweaking?
Exactly.
Like getting all the rig right and getting everything. It'll just be, and the shore crew would be just be massive for each boat.
Yeah. Well, boys, it's at Bucklands Beach Yacht Club, right? Now,
of course it is.
I did a regatta around there once, a teams racing regatta, and we did it on these Nolex 25s, and the sailing instructions said no sailing over 25 knots. And we were heading out to the start. We all had to head out to the start. There's like 10 boats blowing off their moorings onto the beach. There's roofs missing on houses. We're sailing out. We're getting 52 knot on the wind gauge, 52, and they're sending us out, right?
So, they bred them tough.
Yeah, but it was a blow through. It was a blow through.
No, anyway, that's New Zealand for you. Yeah, I think they couldn't read that. The guy that was running the whole show was dyslexic because he saw 52 knots and
25.
Yeah.
It was back to front. He was actually laying upside down.
Yeah. The other one that starts this week is the Niners. All the stuff for the Niners and the NACRA 17s. The European champs are taking place in Vila Moura in Portugal. So that's probably one for the punters to keep their eyes out for, who are looking for form. The Euro very much.
Bit of Niner action.
Yep. So that's a good one. The other one I've got is the Bill Bell Regatta is coming up in Victoria.
Bill Bell,
yeah. It's a one-day race
for
4 races, multiple divisions, classes, depending on numbers. I saw all the OK dinghies are heading to that. It's $20 for visitors. It's cheap as chips. Black Rock. If you haven't sailed out of Black Rock, rush down and do it because
have a crack.
Yeah, it's a good club to go out of. Perfect dinghy club. It's exactly the sort of thing you want. So that's a good one. And then I think the Sea Ventures Super Series BP. What's going on there?
Yeah, this is a new one. This is based out of based in the Solent. It's a minimum crew of 2 to 4 for the sort of 30 foot range boats. And yeah, it's cool. It's super cool.
X2 wouldn't be sailing this by any chance, would it, BP?
Well, it is, but it's really designed around bringing the fun back into sailing. So you've got a Saturday and you do a couple of sort of 10, 15 mile races, and then you end up at a club. You have a dinner, you have a party, and then the Sunday you do another short race, and then you wander off. So it's kind of like a bit of a weekend. It's a weekender.
I like it. Bring back the fun. Making sailing fun again.
Making sailing fun again.
Making sailing fun again.
I love it.
So Sea Ventures Super Series, for all those interested in giving it a follow, get onto it.
All right, moving on. Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week. And, of course, this is presented by Vycobi these days because every month we give away a $200 Aussie dollar voucher to the listener of the month who came up with the most banter, the most fun, or the most important email. Okay,
and let's get onto this, guys.
We on that one first.
Listening.
Are we announcing the winner?
Well, no, we can announce the winner, but let's get onto this because this is serious. And listeners out there, get into this program because it's fun.
It's cool. You're getting a couple $100 worth of sailing gear, and it's glamour gear. Glamour gear from our mates at Vycobi.
There's a bit of bad news though. For myself and BP, our mothers didn't win it.
No.
And actually, to tell you the honest truth, I don't think there's one piece of Vycobi clothing left that my mother doesn't own anyway with her dragon boating career. So
I love it. Your mum's a legend.
She gets into the hiking straps and she gets in there.
Paddle sports. So
I love it. Cool. All right. Well, we'll go into. So these guys are counting for next month. We'll go into the correspondence we've had this one. So we've got some banter come through from Harkin Pro Care. Now,
unbelievable.
I'm assuming that's Mark
Gardner for sure.
Yeah. Remember, I made the discussion when we were talking to Goggins. I said about the Harkin grinding stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got sent through...
In the gyms.
Yeah, in the gyms. Well, I got sent through this whole hiking setup that they, I think, must have done in the 80s or 90s or something. And they've created this whole equipment. So you've got, not only you've got a hiking beach, but you've got all these lines and the whole thing. They sent it through. And so Harkin have had it's a red hot go at the full gym equipment, but designed all around Australia, sailors. So they... We're sending the photos through going, come on, mate, keep up. And I wrote back, I never have a new idea, it seems. 100% new, 23% of the time is where we're at. And looking forward to catching up in a few weeks, obviously. So that was a good one. We got BP. We got a race report from Nick Bonner, the Far X2, doing a bit of regatta racing and took out the win. Did you read that one?
Yep. It was that was exciting. So filling the trophy cabinet, I call it.
Oh, it's good to hear, man. Congratulations. But congratulations to Nick and his crew.
One step at a time. But Nick Nick's pretty proud of himself, and he's thoroughly enjoying what's going on. So
she looks.
Yep.
I'll be honest, BP. She looks like a rocket ship downhill, like just a rocket ship. Like it's your fantasy, you know. Pull a 30-footer where you can pull out 3 sails in the front and you just unfurl everything. You don't even have to go forward, and the thing just planes off. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. It's one of those things. It's waterline length upwind. But downwind, it definitely sails above its numbers. So as long as you can keep your numbers on upwind, you're going okay.
Just hang on downwind. We got an email from a young fella, Ethan R., I think it was. Is this the one? Ethan R.? Yep, Ethan R. Disappointed in us. He's very disappointed in us. Wild thing. I'm a bit disappointed. All that talk about chopping and modifying boats, not one mention of modifications to an etchel.
My mistake, Ethan. But I can promise you.
Can we not just put it behind us?
I can promise you more banter on its way.
I'm interested. I love it. Ethan, thanks, mate. You brought it out, and obviously Bicey's all fired up, so that's a good one. And then the other one is one of our favourites, Scott Patton, the man who is forever focused on how our logo is adjusted. I don't even know which logo it is and where it is because I don't look. But Bicey, you keep moving it around on him. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Copy. So he's OCD and he's doing his head in. But he does want to actually discuss about the Windsurfer LT class. They had the state champs at Rye Yacht Club in Victoria, and the weather didn't come to play. I looked at the videos; it was pretty depressing for them, very light. But its members certainly did. It should be noted that this class, under the helm of Nick Bears and the Vic rep Justin Page, are doing a stunning job of running this association. All sailing classes associations need to have a good, hard look at what the LTs are doing. Fun, inclusive, as competitive as it needs to be, above all, support. The way the experienced competitors sacrifice their own results to get behind the youth and newcomers is something to be admired. We had god-awful conditions for a sailing regatta, and this class was up for whatever we were prepared to throw at them. Keep an eye on the LTs. They have potential to change the fabric of sailing regattas for the better.
Change the fabric.
And for one, I cannot wait for that. That's a good email.
Yeah,
that's up there.
Good, Scotty.
Good email.
I'd even get a T-shirt printed up for you with the logo on back to front or something.
Yeah. Hey, we should make it a rule. Anytime we get a misprint, we send it to Scott.
Exactly. Oh, beauty.
All right, listener of the month, boys. It was
drum
a
roll,
no-brainer.
please.
Hey,
have you got a drum with your guitar, BP?
I can't remember. I don't think I have.
No,
I think I did, and I took it off.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, it was a no-brainer, wasn't it? It was all one way. All one way.
Yep.
She did win Listener of the Year last year when we had no prizes, so it's fair that we give her a bit of a prize. But the Listener of the Month, and let's be honest, she's going with volume as well. She definitely sends us a few emails, but we love them all. Yep. So it's got to be Denise Del Mundo with her banter about thongs and our complete, where we're talking about thongs and the complete misunderstanding for those that are not from Australia and what thongs are. And
no, but isn't it the rest of the world that are wrong?
Correct, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's thongs are thongs. The rest of the world's wrong.
I mean, that's right. Exactly right. So anyway, it was a lot of banter, including photos and all sorts of cartoons and humorous stuff, and more power to her. So she will be winning the voucher and can order $200 worth of the ViKB gear, and our mate Pat will send it.
And this is our second Northern Hemisphere win.
I know. So, come on, Southern Hemisphere.
Dive in deep.
Congratulations,
Come on,
Denise.
Southern Hemisphere.
Love it. All right, moving on.
It's hot time with Bice.
Tell you what, there was a bit of hot time on Friday night at the Australian Sailing Awards, gents.
How was it?
Plenty of Barcaradians around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well, we get
so
lots
that
of
was
recognition,
great
don't
to
we?
see.
You know, we get lots of recognition at the Australian Awards.
Well, no, we didn't need recognition, but as it did turn out, I was there representing a couple of things, the Cruising Yacht Club of SA, Club of the Year, and then the Dockside Festival for the Sports Promotion Award. Early in the evening, the great host AMAM did mention that due to timing restraints, there'll be no speeches. So you know what that means. You don't really have to keep too much control.
It means you drink a bit and you heckle.
As it turns out, well, we didn't have to heckle because I think AM heckled himself.
Yep. He's a funny man.
No, there was some. I would have loved to have actually lined up all the Barcaradians that were there.
Oh, yeah.
So big congrats to everyone that won everything. The inductees into the Hall of Fame. That was super cool. There was representation from Australia too there as well.
Yep.
So it was a awesome evening, and the who's who of yachting were obviously there for such a big event. Werney and Mara took out both the male and female yachts persons.
Barcarati reverse cursed them.
The reverse cursed big time.
Yep.
It was bloody good, and good banter from everyone on site. So, nice. And then we went to the Piermont Bridge Hotel for a little bit of a party.
Piermont Bridge Hotel.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
cool.
As one could imagine. No, it was bloody good.
Congratulations.
And a bit of just not kind of, but Hall of Famer inductee, Ian Murray.
Yep.
Ian Murray, the mother.
Well,
the big
earlier
fella,
that week, the Etchells beater was out. The AM9. Remember?
Yes.
EP?
Yes.
Great looking boat.
Been watching this happen for the best part of 2 years, and look, it's a super cool looking little vessel.
Yeah, and so she's a weapon.
It's a way.
Absolute weapon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Looks really good. Sails super nicely. I spoke to Richie about it and big fella about it, and they love it. So they're going to. That particular boat is built down in Nowra, so it'd be interesting to see where this goes. I'm going to keep a close eye on this.
I'm in Sydney all week, boys, in case there's any boats sailing.
Oh. So
maybe get you right on the AM, on the 9 a.m.
Yeah,
at 9 a.m.
There's plenty of AM stuff going on that night.
There's a lot of AM stuff going on, isn't
including the Welcome to Country done by Alan Murray.
Oh,
as well. Another AM. There's AMs everywhere.
Good old Allo.
So, other news, boys. Ocean Globe race taking off today.
Yep.
I think one boat arrived today.
Oh, really?
Next taking off today. There's been some controversy in Ocean Globe during the week. The when everyone goes to sea, they have all their comms and everything fully sealed, and one of the seals was broken open on Penduick, and there was accusations going around on potential use of a WhatsApp message, which may or may not have happened on board or on someone else's account. To tell you the truth, I don't want to speculate too much, but what it ended up with was a 72-hour penalty.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
That's big.
Yes.
That is big. But they're off again today, so they're making their way through the Southern Ocean. Probably for the winners, it'll be a 5-week leg, I guess, coming up. So good luck to all of those participating. And then finally, gents, TJV.
Heaps going on.
TJV.
Transat Jacques Vabre. The old teams, as we all know, and we watched it last week, the old teams are off on their way. They'll probably be there soon.
Probably there now.
No, I know exactly where they are.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
Then we've got the 40s and the 50s. The mono 40s and multi 50s in Lorient at the moment.
Yep.
And they are going to be starting on Monday morning.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yep.
And then we've got the IMOCAs will be taking off on Tuesday morning. with a 4 a.m. dock out, mind you,
Wow.
for a 9:30 start.
For the
so they've obviously picked a bit of a window.
Yep.
And they'll be making their way. And when we're chatting with Sci-Fi, they'll probably ditch a lot of the kind of turning mark type things and get them there straight away, I'd imagine. So they continue to roll across bloody front after front after front after front.
It's just, as I said to you, it's full on. It's just full on. It's been, we mentioned it with Simon. It's deja vu of 2013 Mini Transit, where we were stuck into Duardinay for the best part of a month. It's just continuous. It just settles and then it goes. It's literally 15 minutes or 20 minutes. You get like a break, and then it's just nonstop again. It's full on.
Yeah. So best of luck to all competitors.
I was just going to say, the old teams, they're all pretty bunched up. They're about to turn left at the Sao Pedro, Sao Paulo Islands and head to Ascension. So they're literally going to go straight into the top of that high that sits off the African coast. So they'll be on the nose in a sec. They're all bending around. So Bank Popular is in the lead. But yeah, they're all racing and about to get smashed on the nose for a bit. Then quick run back, and then they'll fly back up off the South American coast and into Martinique. Happy days. So they'll be well and truly finished by. Won't be long at all.
Happy days indeed.
But it's not fair for the old teams though, because they don't get to just ride the trade wins. They move out of the trades and they don't get the perfect dream run that everyone. That's the reason
the old team. It's not fair for the old teams. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
They're over there.
Yeah.
At least they're not stuck in Brittany.
That's true.
Yep. Cool. So that's all from me, fellas. As far as that, we're kind of in a bit of a transition period. It seems like things are firing up Southern Hemisphere. Standby to standby, aren't we? Really
shutting
down in the Northern Hemisphere. So and then we'll be back into it and go from there.
The J70s have finished. The World Champs have happened and been run in Florida. There, they were racing. St. Petersburg.
Oh, it's St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
Not St. Petersburg in Russia.
No.
Wrong St. Petersburg.
Yeah,
you don't want to send your boat to the wrong place.
There's 10 boats.
That's where a couple of people went.
There's 10 boats with DNSs down the bottom, so I think they went to the wrong spot. Yep. But congratulations to the crew on Brutus 3. Great name. Tom Maladine, Charlie Thompson. Started with a 53rd and then didn't get anything worse than a 13th and ended up winning by nearly 30 points. So, wow. They'll go on for the handicap result as well, I think.
Imagine your first day.
Getting their PHS handicap.
You've put all the effort in. You've got the boat there. You're all set up. You're ready to go, and you get a 53rd.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, it happens.
Then win. And then you win.
Then win the world.
Yeah, and then you win. Yeah, that's it.
Apparently, it was glamour conditions. They had a ball. Like everyone was just sailing in glamour conditions. So it was happy time all across the fleet. Well, obviously not, but yeah. So the Pom's taking the win. A couple of US boats next. A Brazilian team into fifth. Mindset. First female female skipper, Laura Grondin, in third overall, sailing the Dark Energy. So congratulations.
The Dark Energy.
But there's females across the fleet. I'll just be
absolutely
on that one.
Good class for that.
And the last one I've got is the Star Sailors League's going into that finals of all that. So the Gold Cup of that. So you know it's like the World Cup is how they pitch it. It's the World Cup like soccer, but all the nations win through.
But you have to wear knee high socks.
Yeah, something like that. But it'll go on.
Have you seen what they do? The uniforms, they all have to wear knee high socks.
Do they really? No, I had not seen that. No, okay.
No, well, you should look it up. They all have to wear their socks pulled up.
Crazy, stupid. Anyway, it starts 10th of November and it'll go right through to the 3rd of December. So plenty going on there. They're in Gran Canaria, so should be a bit of breeze if they know what they're doing.
Place to sail, really.
Yeah, lovely spot to go sailing. So yeah, congratulations and I think that's us, isn't it? Is that it?
That's us, boys. Have a good week, gents. We're all on the road in different various places, so We'll need a few stars to align to make this week happen, but
Yeah, it's
that's
going
what
to
we
be
do.
a challenge. We'll give it a go.
No, we'll be right. We'll be right. But Bicey, you and I will be standing at the Harkin Bar.
Oh, that there the week after at
That's
Mets.
the week
yeah.
after, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
week after, is it? Yeah, I don't know. But whenever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening,
right.
everyone. Appreciate it. Remember to send us a note at cheers@barkarati.com if you want to try and win the Bicopi voucher. But, of course, if you're looking for the Radix Nutrition, just go to their website. Use Barkarati, one word, as your code word, and you'll get a discount thanks to us. And, enjoy your week.
Enjoy.
See ya.